This is one of your hosts, Nikki Sincero. Thanks for tuning in to our final episode together, where we'll be focusing on what the international response to the Rohingya Refugee Crisis in Myanmar has been. Later, we'll also bring up ways that you, as an individual, could become involved in supporting the Rohingya refugees. One of the ways international response arose was in August 2016, when Myanmar State Council responded to increasing pressures by instituting the Advisory/ANA Commission. This group of commissioners were assigned to investigate and then publish their reports and recommendations on the violent situation occurring in Rakhine State. Factors like people's access to basic services, security, and rights were considered. However, despite their published report a year later, which urged Myanmar authorities to lack of access to many basic rights, such as education and healthcare, the urgency to close camps and allow outside assistance, the reports were largely ignored. The State Council failed to address the concerns, and instead claimed that those in the Rakhine State did have access to these basic rights, which contradicted the Commission's report. This negligence led to international involvement, with the United Nations Human Rights Council, or the UNHRC, initiating a fact-finding mission in March of the same year to investigate the allegations. The Myanmar government did not agree to this, and consequently denied visas to the group, even denying humanitarian aid groups entrance to the Rakhine State. Fast-forwarding to 2023, the UNHRC has continued to actively advocate for the Myanmar government to yet act and address the Advisory Commission's recommendations. Their mission has included distributing educational skill kits to households and working with third countries willing to step up resettlement and initiate new pathways due to the displacement of over 1.3 million people, largely Rohingya, who fled to neighboring countries because of the increased violence. The UNHRC is also working through the 2021 Joint Response Plan for the Rohingya humanitarian crisis, a plan that the United States dedicated $155 million towards efforts supporting Rohingya refugees, people in Burma, and to support the needs of over 900,000 refugees in Bangladesh specifically. And so, we have seen in history that involvement and intervention have great potential to influence, impact, and save lives, whether that is on an international or individual level. One of the ways that you could become more involved with supporting Rohingya people is to consider donating to programs involved with this ongoing crisis, such as, like we mentioned, the United Nations Refugee Agency, or even UNICEF to help provide the resources that Rohingya people will need to rebuild their lives. Finding out which other official organizations also have initiatives during the cause can be as simple as a quick Google search. Aside from donating, you can also become involved on a more direct level. For example, Action Against Hunger is a volunteer organization involved with delivering hot meals and water to those in Bangladesh, a neighboring country where over 1 million Rohingya refugees have fled to. At the same time, healthcare workers are taking care of malnourished children and providing mental health resources. In addition to that, volunteers of the International Rescue Committee assist Rohingya still in the Rakhine State, where staff and volunteers are establishing medical care and emergency relief. Although, Myanmar's government has restricted groups such as theirs from accessing specific parts of the state. Finally, listening to and possibly even sharing this podcast is also one way to promote advocacy of the crisis. Spreading awareness through outlets such as social media, hosting discussions and interactive panels in educational settings, opening up conversations with peers, you name it, can each play an integral part in educating and inspiring others that impose more pressure on international efforts to take action. Thank you for taking the time to tune into our series. We encourage you to share this podcast, and more importantly, other resources to peers, friends, family, colleagues, so we can continue to educate others. We hope that our series serves as a valuable resource to you in bringing awareness to the ongoing violence and crisis taking place in the Rakhine State.